like 11 p.m. and I'm real tired, but I got to page 278 of Six of Crows in the actual book. They're finally doing the heist, so it's getting interesting. You saw my foster cat, Mona. She's still around. She's having a great time. But yeah, I don't think there was really a point to this update other than I'm tired and I've been reading Six of Crows and I'm still having a good time. And I love my cat. Well, go Eagles, I guess. No, not I guess, like go Eagles. It's currently January 29th and I finished Six of Crows. It is all tabbed up. I think almost like every other page has a tab. As you can see, there's so many, it's so colorful. So the story of Shadow and Bone is that they live in this complete fantasy world full of Grisha, who are essentially people with superpowers. They can control fire, water, air. Some of them are like fabricators. I think that's actually the word for it. Some of them can manipulate kind of the human body. And so they live in this world with all of these people, and this book, Six of Crows, is set in Ketterdam, which is a island, and it's not super well known for these Grisha. So there is a drug, essentially, that makes these Grisha powers like tenfold, like super duper powerful than they ever would be just as normal Grisha. And so the main character, Kaz, and his group of misfits, ragtag, like criminals essentially, they're hired to rescue the scientist who created this drug and bring him back to Ketterdam so that none of this drug gets in the hands of like the wrong people. And they go and essentially break out this scientist. It's a heist, like the book is a heist, which is why it's so exciting. My thoughts on the book are that it's perfect. First off, obviously, I gave it 5 stars because it is one of my favorite books of all time. So as you probably know, I reread this in preparation for the new season of Shadow and Bone, which is coming out, I think, March 16th. And I loved it so much. I am so excited for this new season. So since the last time I read this was in 2020, and I immediately read Crooked Kingdom, which is the second book in this duology after it, I didn't really get to kind of like sit with my thoughts on Six of Crows. So I don't really remember that much about the book. This was a great way to kind of reacquaint myself with this world, these characters that is super fresh in my mind because of the Shadow and Bone TV shows, but the story of the Crows wasn't super fresh in my mind because the story in Six of Crows is not the story that the Crows have in Shadow and Bone, the TV show. So I completely forgot that in this, like half of this book is just backstory for all of these characters. And I think on my first read of this book, I was kind of not super into that because I was like, I just want to like focus on the heist, and it's the heist. The heist is the fun thing. I don't really care about their backstories. But this time around, after I like know these characters and I've seen them like physically, like they have like a physical likeness now that the TV show is a thing, I just fell in love with them so much more, if that's even possible. All that to say that on this reread, I found myself loving it even more than I did the first time. I mean, it's no secret that like Leigh Bardugo is an incredible author. She has so many books that are just so incredible. Her writing's impeccable. It's the world that she built is just like so intricate. I did find myself kind of paying more attention to the world and the atmosphere a lot more. I think I understood the kind of mechanics of the heist a lot more than I did the first time. I also realized it's way funnier than I remember it being. I mean, you can't see, but all of my orange tabs are like things that I like laughed at, and there's a lot. Yeah, Six of Crows. My first and possibly only reread this whole year. Done. I mean, now that I've read this, I do want to read Crooked Kingdom. Another book done. I am 4 out of 83 books in. I think that I'm still behind schedule, but we're not going to think about that. So my hold is lapsing on Golden Sun, which is the second book in the Red Rising series. So I put another hold on that one, and I'm going to be reading The Faithless Hawk, which is the second book in the Merciful Crow duology. And so this one is due in 5 days. So I do think it's doable. I don't really remember that much about the first book, unfortunately. Hopefully once I get into it, I will remember. And I do remember really enjoying it, so I'm hopeful. So here they are. This is the first one. I read this, I believe, in April of 2021. I listened to it on audio. Oh my god, it's signed. Who knew? I don't actually think I ever opened this book because I did listen to it on audio. It is a little bit giving me Six of Crows vibes. Obviously, crow and crow. But also the art style is super similar. Okay, I'm remembering more now that I read the summary, and I'm even more excited for this one. And they're also really pretty. They're so pretty. Look at this dedication. It says, "To everyone who is asked to burn and instead decides to rise." Magical. If there's one thing this challenge has reminded me, it's that the feeling of magic and wonder that you get when you read books, especially fantasy books, is unlike anything that exists in the world right now. So it's been a while. I think the last time I vlogged was, last Saturday. It's now February 4th. I just started a new job, so it's been kind of hectic lately, but I have the day off tomorrow. I do have work at 2 today. I'm gonna try and get some work done. I have books in my Libby account. They are borrowed, they are ready to read. I really want to get those done. I'm definitely behind on my Goodreads goal, which doesn't matter in the long run. This is just a fun thing that I'm doing. I'm trying not to beat myself up about being behind on my Goodreads goal or not finishing it, just because this is supposed to be a fun thing that I like doing, and I like reading, so I shouldn't be kicking myself for not reading enough, which isn't a thing. If I when I have the time, I want to read some of these books. And they are the same books that I have been mentioning for the past month, honestly. But the first one, no surprise, The Faithless Hawk. Talked about it a billion times. We all know. What's funny though is that this was on hold, or no, I had this borrowed and in my account, and I had 5 days to read it, and then I didn't read it. But tomorrow I'm going to read it. I'm telling myself, and I'm going to do it. Next, again, no surprise, is Golden Sun. I have this borrowed. It has 19 days left. It'll be good. And third is Devil in the Device. I don't know if I've mentioned this book ever. It has been on my Libby shelf for again, a month. I put it on hold a while ago. It came in a while ago, and then I never got around to reading it. But it's the second book in the Goddess and the Machine duology. It's a sci-fi where This girl has been in cryo sleep for like 1,000 years or something, and she wakes up and she's on like a completely different planet, and they like view her as like the goddess because she like speaks differently because she's from like a really long time ago. I did really enjoy the first one. I'm really excited for this one. Also, it's so pretty. I am hoping to get to those. With this new job, I've kind of slipped out of the habit of reading just because it's so chaotic that I do want to get back into it. I'm gonna continue on this work. So this is what I'm dealing with right now. So I don't even know what it is. It is February 7th. It's been a minute. I have been reading The Faithless Hawk. I don't know how far through it I am. I've been reading it on my phone on my way to work every day. So I'm on page 46, which is not far through at all. I'm aware of this. I'm having trouble getting back into the story. I don't know if that's because I don't vibe with it or it's because I don't remember what happened in the first one. I did reread a summary of the first one, so I have more of a inkling of what's happening. The idea of this series is that there are these crows who are merciful killers, essentially. There's a plague going around this world, and whenever somebody dies from the plague, they send up a smoke beacon, and the crows come and mercifully essentially kill the person who is sick to prevent further like contamination. Our main character, Fi, is a crow, and she's the chief, I believe, of her kind of like clan of crows. And I'm having trouble understanding the motivation to like answer the call. I don't know if it's because I missed something or if it's because it's just a bad idea. Within the world, there is the idea that the crows answer every single beacon, every single call for help, essentially, that they see. I'm only on page 46, and it's happened maybe like two or three times so far, where she's like torn between like protecting her people and like answering the call of a smoke beacon, even though it could be a trap. And I'm having trouble understanding why she wouldn't just like protect her people. Like if she thinks that the smoke is a trap, why would she go? Because in her brain, her conflict is, oh, but like what if it's not? If there's even a possibility of it being a trap, why? That's where I'm at right now in my brain. Otherwise, I am really enjoying it. I like the concept, I like the world. I think it's also kind of, I mean, I say slow to get started. I'm literally not even 50 pages in. But I think it's about to pick up the storyline. I think I'm just gonna read a little bit today. Literally right as I started reading, it says, "No crow abandoned a beacon lightly." And I'm just like, well, why? Like, what is the reasoning behind feeling guilty when you don't answer a beacon? Other than like a kind of like a devout religious thing. There's no religious system in this book. It's just a caste system. So if devotion is not the reason, then what is my question. I have yet to figure that out. So it's been slow moving progress, but I do want to get this video up before the Super Bowl, and obviously progress is slow, so I have some work to do. And so I actually downloaded the Faithless Hawk audiobook, so I'm going to listen to that while I work, and crank out some reading as well as working, just because I have a lot to get done, and I also really want to read this book. I have gotten more into it. It has gotten better. It's picked up. The pacing has picked up a lot more, and I am enjoying it more than I was before. So I'm going to continue reading, and I'm going to work on all the stuff that I have to work on. So, you know the moment in a book where you realize why it's called the name of the book? I just got there. In this world, there are like a whole bunch of different castes, and hawks are one of the castes. So, you can infer what the vibe is right now. There is a crap ton of blocking in this show. If you know, you know. So I just finished The Faithless Hawk. So I know that I was like raving about it earlier, and unfortunately, I didn't really vibe with it that much after I last updated you. There was no explanation for why she feels the need so intensely to answer the call. And it kind of just got like super kind of high fantasy-esque with like the kingdom, and now there was like a political struggle and they had to defeat the big bad witch. I will say that the ending was super lyrical. It was super beautiful. I felt it. I felt the atmosphere. That did save it, in my opinion. But I felt that there were moments in the middle that dragged, that I wasn't a huge fan of. It was also really, in my opinion, really gory in a way that isn't just like, oh, I got stabbed. It's like very graphic, unusual gore, which made me a little bit nauseous at times. There were some parts I couldn't read at night. Overall, I did enjoy it. I gave it 3 stars, which isn't bad, isn't good, it's just normal. Like I said, the ending did save it from being less than that. I did want to point out though that this is the first book ever that I've read on 3 different formats. You saw me reading it physically that one time for like a couple of pages. I read it on my Kindle and my phone, so ebook, and I also listened to it on audio. So that's a first for me. That's, I guess, kind of exciting, very chaotic, but I did it. It worked. I think I'm gonna end this video here and continue on with this challenge. I'm really enjoying myself. I know that I'm still behind, but I'm going to get back on track. I'm telling myself that right now, and I'm going to do it. Yeah, I hope you stick around. I hope you follow along. This is going to be really long and probably take the entire year, but I'm excited. I hope you're excited.